We have Brandon from Phantom, John, head of crypto at Kalshi. We've been live here for the last little while, gentlemen, and I know we got a little bit of an advance notice that you guys were going to be doing something cool, but Josh and I are in the dark here. I'm sure many people who are tuning in later here may be in the dark as well. So why not just jump right off the deep end and let us know what the big news between Kalshi and Phantom is today?
Yeah, totally. So, well, first of all, thanks for having us on. You guys are doing lords of work out here in the hot sun with the podcast. So, appreciate
This is the
that.
best time of day. We're thriving right now.
Yeah, we get the wind breathing right now, man.
It's quite nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, we just announced on stage, just about 30 minutes ago. So, starting next week, we're going to be rolling out native prediction markets integration directly into Phantom, powered by Kalshi, and also powered by DFlow, which is actually sort of like the on-chain tokenization bridge that Kalshi's been working with to actually make this like Solana integration possible.
Let me just pull this up here on you, because if people miss this, and we don't want. There you go.
Yeah,
perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
But starting next week, we're going to be rolling out the native prediction markets, and your people are going to be able to trade, make predictions straight on their phone. Yeah.
I mean, John, can you tell us, I saw maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, you guys announced that you were tokenizing a bunch of your markets, and we had a bunch of questions around what that actually meant. So what does tokenizing Kalshi markets mean, and what does that ultimately unlock for the Kalshi vision?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm very excited about this announcement with Brandon and the Phantom team. It was pretty amazing how quickly it all came together, thanks to the Phantom guys being such fast shippers. And also great to be here. So I think the tokenization initiative that we've had going on, starting with Solana, is essentially allowing Kalshi markets and the Kalshi liquidity layer to kind of interface with the on-chain world. And so Kalshi is the largest friction market, deepest liquidity, most users, most volume. And as a crypto app, that's really what you want, is to be able to tap into that. And so we're kind of bridging that towards the on-chain world. And I think beyond just like tapping into the billions of dollars of liquidity on chain, this tokenization layer will also enable like a whole ecosystem of developers to be able to build permissionlessly on top of Kalshi. And I think we'll see some very interesting sort of new novel products also being built, sort of on the longer tail side of like builders targeting different user segments or categories, and also like wallets such as Phantom, who are like innovating on the user interface and social front, with being able to swap any token for predictions, or being able to do live chat in the app.
Okay, so I want to get into, like, we're fascinated by prediction markets as platforms, and it's sort of like, it seems to be like the market model that is broken out into the mainstream in a way that many crypto products, meme coins, just really never were able to. So I think that's fascinating. But to you, Brandon, I'm curious why Kalshi and not Polymarket?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it was a very natural choice to work with Kalshi because of the fact that they made this early bet on the Solana ecosystem, and that's exactly what we've done as well. We've from the very beginning chose Solana as our foundation to really develop the future of finance, because, well, for a number of different reasons, XYZ, it's super practical, it's fast, cheap, etc. And Kalshi deploying directly on Solana made it super easy for us to get the product out there and just get it in the hands of all these users.
I mean, maybe just to build on that for a second, I've heard you say that you regret going cross-chain. Tell me more about that.
Somebody told us that you said that. So
someone told
me.
Yeah. Maybe someone told me. I just
on stream here. I think it was on stream here.
Oh, maybe it was on stream.
Well, I mean, that didn't come out of my mouth.
Okay, maybe it didn't come out of your mouth.
I mean,
I guess talk to me about the continued conviction on Solana. Like, do you have room to grow within the Solana ecosystem, or is it just a bet on Solana ultimately being the winner and growing 10x from here?
Yeah, no, I mean, Solana, I think, is by far the fastest horse in the whole, L1 race. I mean, in my mind, there's Ethereum, there's Solana, and then there's everyone else. Solana was really able to, I mean, in the 2022 era, there was a whole race to become like the fast and cheap blockchain, and Solana pretty much won that decisively. And because of these ecosystems have all these network effects, it's really hard to unseat one once it has enough momentum. And honestly, Solana as well just has the best developer and builder ecosystem. I think you guys can see that from being here. It's a reflection of the whole ethos of the whole of the ecosystem, which is like all about practical engineering and actually building like, real consumer apps. Yeah.
So, John, I'm curious if there was a broader search for trying to figure out where Kalshi should be tokenizing its markets, or if Solana was just the obvious choice from day one.
Yeah, I think Kalshi, we are very happy to be building with the Solana team. They've given us tremendous amount of help on the go-to-market, and I think ultimately we want to be tokenized on every chain, or at least to start with the major chains. I think the reason why Solana came first for us is kind of speaks to like the teams and the talent that are on Solana. So the DFlow and Jupiter team both are very talented teams that are kind of building this tokenization layer, powering this whole liquidity, bringing the liquidity layer of Kalshi on chain, and they move really fast. And I think just the Solana DEX infrastructure landscape has progressed to a very advanced state right now. Even with like prop AMMs or like order aggregation and routing, and so I think that was a particular big unlock. But I think we definitely are planning on rolling out some more chains soon.
I mean, I'm interested in how you guys think about the kind of platform versus protocol opportunity looking forward. Like in an ideal world, 5 years in the future, is most of the volume coming from kind of people integrating into Kalshi like Phantom, or is majority of that coming through your own front end?
Yeah, I think really the answer is both. And our app is growing very fast. I think we every week we basically hit like #1 in the App Store for finance, and that might be like one of our fastest growing categories. But at the same time, an exchange is an exchange that is a platform. Even in traditional finance, like the New York Stock Exchange, the CME, they basically all their volume comes through third-party brokers and other sort of like distribution channels rather than a first-party front end. And so I think that's very important if you want to build prediction markets and take that mainstream into like a real net new asset class that isn't kind of just like an app, but really like a whole financial layer and new financial primitive. And so I'm very excited about our traditional sort of like broker integrations. We have large partners such as like Robinhood, Price Picks, and a large crypto exchange that is getting announced soon. And also on the sort of on-chain permissionless side, we get this grassroots ecosystem developer and on-chain sort of liquidity tap in as well, which I think serves a different purpose and different type of functionality, but is equally as important.
So I'm curious about the business dynamics that exist here. Like, what's in it for Phantom to be integrating these markets?
Yeah, I mean, for us, our entire mission and MO is to take on-chain innovations in fintech, and help them become the safest and easiest they can use and to be, and bring them to a broader mainstream audience. And so it's really about giving users what they want and keeping them in the app and doing things, doing kind of bringing their entire financial lives in the app, whether that's prediction markets or things on the other end of the risk curve, like payments and stable coins and everyday use cases like that as well.
But for people who are building on Kalshi, is there sort of a fee share that exists there that's ultimately driving this, or how much are you able to share around like the economics of these types of deals?
Yeah, I think it's similar to kind of the economics that Hyperliquid or Pump Fund have, which is this like platform dynamic, and builders who are building on top can choose to charge fees and monetize that way.
Okay. So it'd be maybe a little bit more expensive to go trade my predictions on Phantom?
I think maybe potentially compared to Kalshi Direct app, but I believe in terms of any other of like the brokerage type of experiences, it should be the same, if not better. Yeah.
Brent, I'm interested in maybe digging a little more into cash. I think I saw this week or last week that you guys crossed $100 million in issuance, which is massive. I'm curious what the core use case of that within the product right now. Are people using it for payments? Is it just holding stables in the app? Like how has that adoption gone?
Yeah, so a lot of that $100 million of market cap that's been built up so far has actually been more ecosystem-wide initiatives. So working really closely with Camino to build very liquid borrow lend markets, and pumping some incentives in there to make sure we bootstrap that. Just over the past week, we've finally gotten the Phantom Cash consumer front end actually rolled out, and so most folks should have that on their phone now. And then if you're in the US, we're also starting to roll out like the debit card, the instant bank transfers, the ability to deposit your payroll and all of that. And so that's going to be super sick, and that's going to also drive things, way crazier as well.
What a ticker, man! Like what? Like it's just like an epic brand win there. Like when I saw that, I was like, wow, how had nobody actually dominated that namespace yet?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a gamble for sure. I mean, I think we had an internal debate whether we should, go with the mold of USDX or whatever, or try to break it and go for cash. And I think it's a reflection of, I think, what we're trying to go for with the whole experience in stablecoin is actually something that's a lot more consumer focused and everyday focused, which I think cash does a really good job kind of conveying, versus a lot of other stablecoins that are maybe a bit more like, institutional or enterprise focused.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think both of you guys are building in probably the most competitive spaces, right? I think this era maybe has been defined between prediction markets as the badge wars, which I think is fascinating. Obviously, wallets similarly competitive. John, I'm just curious, and you're fairly recent, I think, to the Kalshi team after having bold posted your way onto it, which is, I think, a fantastic case study in and of itself. I'm wondering what it's like to be on the ground in the midst of that competitive dynamic.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, today I'm sporting a Phantom badge. But I think in the sort of competitive dynamics of prediction markets, it really is like a positive sum game, I think. Prediction markets are so early. It's a net new asset class, just like crypto 10 years ago. And so I think any sort of like competition we have with other prediction markets in this space really drives us to be better every single day. And I think, I guess, like, I joined Kalshi a few months ago and started making a big push into crypto. Other prediction markets have been following the Kalshi playbook of going into the US and the regulated model, which I think most of the major players are like allocating more of their resources to there now. So it's really been like this like leveling up on every sort of element, and ultimately it benefits the end consumer the most. For me personally, working at a company that is like deep in sort of like a competitive race, I would say it's incredibly exciting. It keeps me busy, and yeah, I'm very glad to be here.
Just happy to be here, baby.
Just happy to be here.
I mean, how about you guys, Brandon? Like, who do you? I think wallets is probably not the right category to even think about you guys in anymore. Like, what is the competitive set that you see yourselves existing in?
Yeah, I think towards the end of last year, I think we saw the writing on the wall that essentially we were becoming the biggest crypto wallet out there. And so once we saw that that was happening, we immediately geared up into another year internally and said, hey, how do we actually use this pole position that we have on wallets to actually level up and basically attack a broader peer set of Square Cash, Robinhood, Venmo, and actually go for that, the true crypto vision of the global consumer finance platform, right? And so I think, a lot of times, internally when we talk about competing with MetaMask or whatever, I just sort of reframe everything, because honestly, thinking of ourselves as a wallet is actually quite limiting, and actually it does a disservice to our users in the industry.
What is your edge against some of these bigger incumbents?
It's the power of crypto. Yeah, I mean, I think we have a very privileged position where we're able to really harness the superpowers of crypto. So, namely, being able to tap a global audience from day one. Less than 30% of our users are in the U.S. We have an entirely global audience. That's something that none of those incumbents have. So that's one. And then the other superpower of crypto is its permissionless nature. It's an ecosystem. It's an entire team and sort of digital country of builders who are building out all these innovations nonstop. And it's our job to take whatever is gaining traction and whatever is working, and then package that into a safe and easy to use kind of package for a broader audience. And being built on sort of an on-chain ecosystem makes that super easy. Yeah.
John, I'm interested in maybe peering out a few years, and I'm curious if you think the prediction markets, or like the end state of prediction markets, are just the prediction markets we have today with more markets and deeper liquidity, or this is kind of a starting point for some weird evolved thing that's to come.
Yeah. Well, I think for prediction markets, there are kind of two product values. One is like obviously the trading component, where I think everyone is an expert on something, and prediction markets kind of have the most diverse set of markets, where you have markets on sports, politics, culture, music markets, crypto markets, and even weather markets. So we have a lot of like meteorologist experts who love trading those. And the other sort of value prop that we have is probably like most of the people who interface with prediction markets do so in like a read-only way, where they look at the stats, they can understand like some things that are otherwise unquantifiable in terms of like odds of something happening. And we saw that with the election markets being huge, and now we're seeing that with the culture markets, crypto markets as well. And so I think we'll kind of see that grow in two different directions. On the read-only side, we recently partnered with CNN and CNBC, and we're the exclusive prediction market partner for them. I think going into the sort of next election cycles, that'll be huge, and it's really, I think, blown not only our minds but also people around the world to like think about the fact that now prediction market odds are going to be integrated into the everyday news cycle, and so I really think there's a lot of serendipity that's going to occur over the next few years of prediction markets being in places where you'd never expect, growing in ways that you might never expect. And I think on the trading side, we're already seeing it rival like other asset classes in terms of legitimization. So we had an SEC CFTC panel a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and Tarek was on stage, who's the Kalshi CEO, was on stage with on the panel with the CEOs of the New York Stock Exchange, CME, CBOE, and others. And so I think prediction markets as an asset class will become more and more legitimized into traditional finance and decentralized finance, and then it'll generally be more embedded into our daily lives.
What are some big opportunities you see for building on top of Kalshi that maybe people aren't seeing right now, or you would love to see more builders going after?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people building pro trading terminals, but I'm really most excited about the verticalized front end space. And what that means is, Kalshi has many different market categories, from like pre-markets in crypto to like mention markets where you can literally trade on like what Trump might say in his next speech, and weather markets where you can make like a tailored front end that has the lowest latency, the most localized data feeds, and like the most edge for weather experts.
Right.
Or with mention markets, you could build like a sniper bot that AI transcribes transcripts in real time, or like pattern matches between previous speeches to like figure out the inefficient probabilities of what someone might say in their next speech. So I think like building these verticalized experiences that target the power users of a specific segment will grow a lot of the like more niche categories on Kalshi. And I think there's a lot of sort of edge and like niche expertise that builders who are like live and breathe that specific category every day could make a real business out of.
So it feels like, any new technology market, especially with something with prices that kind of jumps the shark, it's a lot. Eventually, there's sort of like an antibody from society that starts to build up. And I think, in crypto and in prediction markets, we've seen sort of this financial nihilism narrative kind of rise its head over the last little while. And I guess I'm curious, what are people getting wrong about this evolution in technology that's leading them to see this in some dystopian way rather than the way that you both clearly see it as sort of like a fundamental unlock?
Yeah, I think that is kind of a symptom of, prediction markets are going mainstream, and there are obviously many people who are like, as they can or should be like skeptical of new developments. And I think prediction markets have this stigma of being viewed as gambling. And there are two main reasons why I think that's like not the case. One, like there's real economic value and utility behind these prediction markets. Just how with the stock market you can allocate capital and resources to different companies. With prediction markets, you can price things efficiently, and sort of the value that you get to the world is you get like the skin in. People have skin in the game. The wisdom of the crowds produces this single data point for any sort of event. And it brings more truth to the world, brings more information to the world, and more consensus. And that is also what crypto is about. And secondly, I think unlike casinos or sports books or other gambling or gaming like models, prediction markets are financial exchanges. They're a peer-to-peer model. There's no house, and so the like economics there are very different. We only make money when users make trades, and we don't like only make money when users lose money. I think that like fundamentally is a very different model. It's a peer-to-peer, more fair, better margins for the user, and really allows for like just like a more flourishing financial ecosystem to develop around it.
The other pushback seems to be around insider trading. Is insider trading here in this context a benefit of the model? I mean, we're searching for truth. People closest to that truth seem to maybe have privileged information. I'm just curious what your take on that is.
Yeah, I think this is like kind of a contentious topic, and there are kind of two schools of thought here. One, as you just mentioned, but at least from Kalshi's angle, like we have always taken the pro-regulation approach. We really care about the consumer, and just like in healthcare, I think regulation really matters. And so insider trading on Kalshi is not allowed. We have like surveillance teams and enforcement around that. And I think the reason why insider trading from like a market structure standpoint is not like ideal, aside from all the morality side of things, is if you have toxic flow, then like market makers and liquidity providers are less able to maintain market integrity and sort of like low spreads. And so I think we want to make in order to bring prediction markets truly mainstream, we need to make sure that the markets have integrity. And so it is this fine balance that we have to ensure that the market has integrity.
So Brandon, we're nearing the end of 2025. I assume you're doing a lot of forward looking into 2026. I'm curious what some of the big kind of strategic initiatives or focuses are looking into the next year to both maintain this pole position that you have and kind of expand into adjacent categories.
Yeah, so I mean, this year was a huge infrastructure building year for us, where we built a lot of product and released a lot of things. So yeah, we had Phantom Cash, obviously, Phantom Terminal, Phantom Perps, Phantom Connect, and then obviously prediction markets now. And so just kind of now it's time to kind of digest all those things that just went out. And next year is going to be all about actually getting those things to truly grow and in front of a mainstream audience and really bring crypto as a whole to the next level. And so I think, yeah, the theme for next year is going to be growth.
What is onboarding the next wave of users into crypto look like? Is that something like you guys think you need to do, and what does tactically that look like?
No. I mean, that's definitely something that's pretty much our core MO. Is like the whole company was founded because we are on this mission to accelerate the adoption of crypto by solving the usability issue. Right. It's something that's been talked about for years and years and years. That crypto is so hard to use, and no one's really been able to step up and do that. And so, yes, I 100% view that as our role. And I think a big part of that is the whole concept behind Phantom Cash is really giving users the daily use cases and that they can actually come back to the app day after day, be able to, and actually be able to treat it like a bank replacement, be able to get their payroll, be able to spend on a card and all of that. And so I think that was a very important piece of the puzzle for us to actually be able to say, hey, product is ready. Now let's get everyone in here, and they're actually going to stick around because they have something to do.
I know we're probably coming up on time here, but John, one of the things that I found kind of interesting about one of your earlier answers and just how I think you show up as like this incredible bull for prediction markets is this deep belief that you have in, I think you compared it to crypto. This sort of innovation was sort of at the same level as blockchains and tokens, that they're these maybe nascent form right now, but these become an entire new primitive that and platform and an entire new set of experiences, products, et cetera, get built on top of it. I think a lot of people are maybe not fully on your level with understanding it as you see it. So I'm wondering if you could help maybe articulate this clear scale and opportunity that you see here.
Yeah, yeah. I think the mental model to have here is, we've traditionally thought of financial markets as kind of just like stocks, bonds, commodities, and on a first principles level, like if you're buying a stock, you're getting exposure to a group of people that are building a company, like an economic machine. If it's bonds, you're getting kind of exposure to the U.S. government and their ability to manage like monetary policy and stuff. And so with prediction markets, it kind of is the superset of everything. The most important thing to think about here is like the underlying. And so with prediction markets, you can set like the underlying to be any specific question or event. And so prediction markets are essentially this new primitive that allows you to capture any underlying in the world and make like a liquid financial market on top of that. And so that is really the fundamental unlock. And I think being able to trade on anything, being able to like price anything is like a huge unlock for society, especially in this coming era where AI and social media is like obfuscated that even more. And so having this like very clear, quantitative, unbiased, like market-based mechanism for pricing that and pricing anything, I think is going to be huge.
Do you see some of these traditional markets as a part of the addressable market for prediction markets? Like, do you think some percentage of people that are trading stocks today or buying bonds or trading commodities are actually just going to better express their opinions through prediction markets and choose to go that route instead?
Yeah, like just take for the example of stock market. I think we're seeing some more collaboration with the SEC and CFTC, which are like the securities and derivatives regulatory bodies. And so I think it would be quite interesting to see more like securities esque like prediction markets potentially in the future if there's a regulation opens up in that way. That would be a huge unlock for the industry. I think secondly, like already we are seeing more and more of this cross collaboration where for example, we have these Tesla markets which talk about like when will Tesla self-driving be activated, or how much deliveries will there be for Tesla this quarter, and then financial analysts are able to build more accurate financial models from the ground up by pricing in the market expectations around all these like disaggregated drivers of a stock. And so I think that's going to be huge in terms of bringing that closer together. And prediction markets are kind of like this more like ground level source of truth for any particular concept or financial asset in society.
I mean, crypto is notorious for being limited in many ways by the lack of engagement with regulatory bodies or desire from regulatory bodies to engage. I'm wondering, I mean, interested in both your takes, how much of your visions and sort of the opportunities ahead are constrained in some way by the current regulations, or is that maybe less of a case today?
Well, yeah, I mean, the vision really is to go completely mainstream, right, and bring 1 billion users on chain. I mean, that's not going to happen without working with regulatory bodies. That's just the practical matter of it. However, nowadays, it's pretty much the best setup to build in crypto imaginable, right? You have friendly administration, you have the SEC and CFTC that are actually coming to the table and having productive conversations, and which is a completely different posture than they've had before, right? Where they were not even coming to the table; they were just doing enforcement by example.
Here's
right?
a letter. Have fun.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm super bullish on the regulatory environment right now, and it's just awesome because, like, basically, what's happening right now is that the genie is coming out of the bottle. Once this happens and the proliferation of the tech it really happens, then it's going to be pretty much impossible to clamp it down afterwards because of the whole permissionless and global nature of it. And so, yeah, I'm ultra bullish on it.
We had 2 lawyers on right before you guys came on, so
Okay.
we dove into sort of the nuances here, a little bit of the history, etc. All right, guys, is there anything that we didn't get into here that they're maybe relevant. I mean, these are both incredibly exciting categories that I think are just going to be at the center of the excitement and growth in crypto generally, in finance generally. So it seems like there's a lot of excitement and opportunity ahead. I want to make sure that I didn't miss out something that you guys are deeply excited about, but I didn't ask you a question of.
I think you guys did a great job.
Well, thank you, John.
Yeah,
There we go. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted to hear. Let's go.
Gentlemen, really appreciate you hopping on with us today. Obviously, a big day for both of you. Right off the stage, right here to 11 a.m. Appreciate you guys spending some time with us today.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you
Awesome.
for having us.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We actually get to take advantage of shaking hands right now because normally Josh is 1,000 miles away from me, and we have to do this remotely, and so we just try to touch each other as much as possible here. So. All right, guys, thanks so much. Look forward to chatting with you again in some months, and we see where this space has gotten to.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Metaplex. This clip brought to you by Metaplex. Launch tokens and NFTs on Solana and the SVM.